Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Juanita Lee Estevez, or maybe also Juanita Rivera Estevez. Now, this person was born on the 3rd of June, 1969, and reportedly abducted on the 27th of November, 1984, from Live Oak, California. There isn't a lot of information on her, and like I said earlier, some people also are confused about the name. At least in some places they call her Juanita Lee, in other places it's Juanita Rivera. These could be the same person, these could be two different people. There are people who believe that she escaped her captors. Some people believe that she was then recaptured. Other people believe that she was free after that and that she moved to, I think, Northern California. At least that's where she then reportedly died at the age of 52 as a result of sepsis. This would have been in 2021. Nobody is sure if this person is the same person as the one who went missing. Maybe they both went missing at some points, and maybe this person was never missing in the first place because maybe they don't even exist. There's more questions than answers, I suppose, with this case, and that is why I was asked to do a reading on Juanita, and we're going to do that starting off with the Deviant Moon deck, which is already on the table. And for any further questions, moving on to the Crow Tarot deck, which is this one. So as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I have a table full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's see what we get. So I just kind of focused on whether this person was actually missing, and if so, what was the story. So that's what these cards are about. Let's take a look what we've got. We're starting off at top left with the Nine of Pentacles. All right, so I'm looking at this little skull thing flying down over here with a chain. I feel like maybe either somebody promised something or they felt like they had something that made them independent in a way. So they decided to strike out after they had perhaps a disagreement with somebody, with the Lovers in reverse like that. Particularly also with this striking snake down there. Like maybe there was an argument or something with someone who they would normally be close to, and because they felt like they could take their own money and leave, they decided to strike out here with this Two of Wands. Now, Two of Wands is also kind of like a planning phase, so maybe they initially decided to just kind of look at what was there, see what they could harvest and all that sort of thing, like where are the good spots, and then they made a decision. But the Queen of Pentacles is not very good at making good decisions in this case. Normally the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is trying to keep all the plates spinning, but they're not very efficient at it. Like there's certain things working against them, like that thing, even though they are trying to be practical about things, it's not really working out for them. However, a direction is chosen and they decide to strike out, or at least make a move with this Ace of Pentacles upright. So perhaps they did have a good idea, but then it turned out very badly over here with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. In the meantime, though, we have a Queen of Cups card, and I'm wondering this is maybe somebody who she ran into, who's like, oh, let me help you with that, because it looks like your cup is leaking a little bit. There's like a small droplet over there that is falling off of the cup, like, oh, let me help you, support you in a way that you don't lose anything. But then we see the chickens coming home to roost here with this Seven of Pentacles. Like I said earlier, things do not go well, do not go as planned. The fruits of their input are not what they expected, which is also represented here with this Page of Cups, which is a negative surprise. I'm kind of reminded of the expression silver-tongued devil, because if you look at the fish, it's got like a little light bulb or something on their tongue. And there are certain fish in the ocean that have a small little lamp type thing, protrusion hanging off of their forehead, and that lures in other fish who are there like, oh, food or some type of light source. That must be interesting. And then when they get close enough, the fish actually eats them, and then it turns out to be a very negative surprise as well. So maybe they drew them in with some honeyed words or some words of wisdom, some advice that perhaps they were looking to get. So far it looks as though there may have been actually a person who did get missing. Now, whether they actually managed to escape their captors or anything like that, we don't know yet. We're going to take a look what the other cards tell us. We have, for instance, here a Ten of Pentacles in reverse. We're being taken heavy advantage of. It could be that whatever resources they thought they had over here are now being taken from them with lies, because we have here the Seven of Swords. That is deception. They may be pretending that things are fun and games, or at least putting on some type of show, because they do look like they're dressed for the circus or something along those lines, at least some type of performer. And that is how they managed to part her from her resources or the riches that she thought she had. Temperance is in reverse, so the temper is lost. I don't know about who exactly, but it might be this Queen of Swords here, who is also in reverse. There is a tear by the eye. Now, it could be pretending to be emotional. It could also be like sometimes certain gangs will tattoo a teardrop under their eye if they've killed someone. So there may be some people involved here who are experienced with this type of thing, noticing the blood spatter on the ground and the sword. It kind of comes across as, oh, I didn't mean to hurt you, but now look at what you've made me do. Like that type of manipulation tactic, like, oh, they're going to first cut you and then they're going to cry about it, like that. Might be what's going on here. Justice is in reverse in any case, because of course they are doing very unjust things by her. And on the end here we have the Seven of Wands, so they're also challenging her. This may be her running away, actually, because we see this person in the dead of night running with her hands up front, trying not to hit anything. They're also cut on their arm and their leg. They look very much frightened, so this may be the escape attempt that people did mention. So perhaps this is the first attempt at an escape that was brought up by some people. Let's grab the other deck to see if we can figure out what happens next. All right. What are these two going to tell us? We have the Eight of Cups, unable to walk away from something emotionally, or trying to walk away at least. King of Cups. All right, so maybe somebody is bringing them back in because of emotional manipulation. The cup runneth over there at the bottom. There's a lot of activity behind him. The ocean looks very rough. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Fish jumping from the ocean as well. And they've got like a tie around their neck made out of a fish as well. It's interesting. So I think they may have tried to escape, but found that it was not possible to do so. But they may have checked out emotionally. Like maybe they've been brought in, manipulated back in, and their emotions were ignored, or they found that they could not trust them or something, because this king over here is very manipulative and trying to get her to use her emotions, or using her emotions to try and get her to do what they want her to do. So this looks like she did not quite escape, or at least she tried to, but she didn't quite get away. Emperor in reverse. All right, somebody should have taken care of her, but they didn't. It could be the first thing that actually came to mind was perhaps some patrol car, law enforcement car saw her but decided not to act, or was convinced by this King of Cups not to act. Like this, maybe them trying to run away. Then we have the King of Cups combined with the Emperor in reverse. They perhaps see her in a distraught fashion. They go over to talk to her. King of Cups shows up, one of her captors, in other words, and they come up with a plausible enough excuse that they release her in his custody, and they go on their merry way while the Emperor looks the other way. It's kind of what I'm getting over here. They're also sitting on a sword, which is the words as well, so perhaps there is a swords element there as well. They're convinced by words rather than what they're actually seeing. They're also literally looking the other way. So maybe they were just kind of tired at the end of the day and didn't want to do or get into too much trouble, and they're like, yeah, sounds plausible, carry on, like that type of thing. All right, let's see. Then we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so now we're trying to balance our resources, but we're also far away from civilization. You can see the town way in the background there, and way up front is where we are with our stuff, and we're trying to do the best we can with what we have. This strikes me as trafficking. They're taken away from people who may have some opinion about what's going on with her, and perhaps also taken away from any familiar location where she may be recognized and she doesn't have anybody to rely on. What she has is what she has, and that's what she's going to have to do whatever she can with. So she may be taken away and then trying to deal with the situation as best as she can with this Four of Pentacles. That one's over here now. Strength. No, King of Wands. It looked like strength because of the lion over here, but it is actually the King of Wands on its side. So there may be a hot-headed figure in the mix here who occasionally is nice and occasionally is not, occasionally acts and occasionally does nothing. So a bit unreliable of a character, but then again, if you are in a trafficking situation, you're likely not to run into the best of people anyway. Also, we're looking at the infinity symbol at the top right there of the card. So I think she's settling into this new situation that she's in. Oh, Wheel of Fortune is turning. It is upright. So maybe there was a time where she was able to change her fortune here. We're looking at the lion again. Pretty much the same position as it was in before. And then we have a Page of Wands. So in acting rashly, suddenly, without thinking, she may have been able to escape, but I'm looking at the background and it kind of looks like a desert landscape. Like she may have been able to escape, but the area that she's in was not familiar, nor was it someplace where you could easily hide or survive away from civilization for a long period of time. But it looks as though she may have tried to grab that opportunity. Okay. What do we got here? We have the Star. All right, so somebody may have noticed her as well. She may have been trying to contact people, looking at the water, and this looks like a river. She may have found the river to try and follow it to where people see her, and perhaps also did something about it. So if this is an escape attempt, then it would be the second one. She is making her presence known here with the star, but then we have the high priestess in reverse, so we're not being very careful about things either. This could be because she was in a mindset where she was not able to think clearly anyway, and therefore whatever people they ran into who looked as though they might be friendly were immediately trusted. There we go. Strength is low. There isn't much she can do anyway, so whoever is smiling at her or promising something good is now considered a friend in this situation. All right, so that's also not a good situation to be in because you don't know who you're running into on the road, if they are good people or not. Whoops. All right, so we are falling in with a group perhaps that is pretending to be good and pretending that they're going to do I guess, party with her, help out, but it is not going anywhere with the Chariot in reverse. Also, this Three of Cups always strikes me as people partying under precarious circumstances because they are in the maw of a very dangerous looking fish, so maybe they are kind of hedonistic in that sense. She may be falling into a crowd that does not do very healthy things, like she may have found refuge in a circle in society, certain subgroup of society where life is cheap, and I'm feeling like this may be like leaving a trafficking situation and then ending up working for a brothel or something along those lines, like that type of thing, because the Chariot is in reverse, so it's not like it's a step up. And the background is very dark, very industrial, so she may be in a bit of a poor area where she may be able to hide with all these other people that are doing the same thing, but not necessarily thrive. Page of Pentacles in reverse, so we're not able to save up for anything. We're also making bad choices with our finances. Again, the same situation in the background, not doing too well with the tools that we've got. Kind of going through the motions as well, because this person appears to be completely made out of steel, like an automaton. Like the Chariot already had that, but they had a somewhat human-like inside, but this appears to be a complete robots, so she may robotically be going through the motions and just not able to help change her situation to something better because of bad investments made. And we've got this is the Four of Pentacles again. Yes, we're being very maybe not greedy, but kind of like we are trying to save in ways that are not practical, which we already saw here with the Page of Pentacles, but the Four of Pentacles is only really strengthening that. Also, we are following the money in a location or towards something which is not good, like just doing things that will not lead to positive results in order to try and get out of this situation, because they are walking away from all of that and walking into the fire with somebody who looks like death. So the things, the choices that they are making are not healthy at all, but they don't see that. And then we have here the Knight of Wands, because the Knight of Wands is acting out any which way they can or feel like it is the best thing for them in the moment, but it's in reverse, so that means that the choices, again, the choices they are making are not good and they're not going to lead her anywhere positive. So it really does look as though she may have ended up in a very bad place, very bad situation. And I don't know if the person who is following this path ever made it to the age of 52, because that would be a very lucky thing for them to have accomplished. Let's see, Ace of Wands here. We're making some bad choices here. Potentially also ending up with the children as well, because we're looking at this pot over here. Some of her choices may have led her down paths that have not seen her do any better. Matter of fact, we're continuing to do worse. And now we're also responsible for some offspring that we need to take care of, and potentially we are not in the best position to do so. Okay. And we are very much worried about that, probably because now we realize that we have a lot of things that we need to take care of and not a lot of ways to take care of things. Potentially also worried that we're going to lose the children that we have, because this cat does not look very much living to me. So they are afraid that bad things will happen to the things that they do end up caring about, even though they probably shouldn't have had the children in the first place. Like they were not in the right position for that to happen, to be able to take care of them. That one. Yeah, I was expecting this card. This is the Five of Pentacles. So this leads to even more destitution. So we are definitely on a downward spiral, and we're not actually going to get much better anytime soon. Looks as though maybe we'll draw a few more cards for this row, and then I'll move on to if we're ever going to find out anything more about her. Like, it's been 40 years, a little under 40 years since she went missing. So it's been 40 years. Yeah. It's unlikely we're going to find out anything, but who knows. But let's see if we can get a few more cards about this situation that they were in. King of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so the King of Pentacles is spending money the wrong way on the wrong things. So the fact that this is the king who is very much set in his way, and he also seems to have become part of the factory as well with that crown of his, kind of cements the idea for me that they just became a part of the environment that they found themselves in. So that is their permanent home, so to speak. So that negative spiral that they were in, they just kept circling down the drain. Not really seeing any chance for improvement, but also not trying to improve because they became part of the spiral themselves. It kind of looks like with this line of cards. Now, let's see if we'll ever find out more about where she ended up. Is she ever going to resurface, for instance? Are there potential children going to perhaps find out a thing or two about the background of their mother? We have the the King of Swords. All right, so somebody may be very sharp, maybe looking at things a certain way, very intellectual, so they may be able to figure things out. And I'm wondering if this is maybe somebody who is already fascinated by this case, because there are so many mysteries surrounding this case as it is. This may be somebody who is digging into whatever they can find online about it, and then trying to also connect that to real life resources, data banks, records, anything like that. This is the Nine of Cups, so they may end up finding something that really puts them in a good mood, like they're suddenly on a good streak. They may have found a resource that is going to provide them with lots of new information to work with. I'm noticing some keys as well, so they may get some keys in the bunch as well. A new windfall that they have that's going to perhaps also put the wind in their sails, so they can perhaps go digging even further and find out a little bit more. This one's in reverse in any case. This one's on its side. Queen of Cups, somewhat manipulative, perhaps for a particular reason. And then we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Somebody is focusing mostly on themselves. Next to the Queen of Cups, who is kind of ambivalent. But maybe I'm kind of wondering if this is somebody, the Queen of Cups, who is being asked to provide information or to help out, and they're not quite doing so effectively because they feel like you don't want to know the answer. This is kind of like the milder version of that clip. I think it's from Apocalypse Now. No, it's not. Was it? I don't know, one of those war movies where you have the "you can't handle the truth" kind of like that, but then in a softer, more emotional way of, oh yeah, I'll help them out a little bit, but not too much because they don't want to see that. Like there are certain things happening you don't want to know. They might seem a little bit too frail. And this may be a self-serving behavior, like they may have some skin in the game themselves as well. They may also feel like if it were them, they wouldn't be able to handle it, and that's why they kind of give that treatment to everybody. This may also be the person who is looking into it and finding out things that they're like, I don't know if people really want to know this because this is really bad, and maybe I shouldn't tell people exactly what happened, but just kind of allude to the truth to maybe hopefully put some people's minds at ease, but they don't really want to give you the whole story like that. I'm going to make a little bit of space for these two as I correct this bunch over here that has gone all over the place. All right, so we have here 5 of Pentacles again. We had that over here again, and we have the 8 of Swords. All right, so this may be what they find. Like we already had the 5 of Pentacles over here. That was followed by the King of Pentacles in reverse, but now we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse with the 8 of Swords. They're very much dejected. I'm thinking this is Juanita when they do find her, and they find that she is in such a state that there's no way she's going to climb out of it anymore because she's been warped too much to the point where she cannot or will not walk away from the situation that she's in. I'm going to draw just a couple more cards to see if we do ever actually end up learning anything about it, because this person may be deciding at some point that maybe we don't want to see this, but a lot of people do, regardless of what the outcome actually ended up being. So maybe they'll change their mind at some point. This card came out, Ace of Swords. Okay. Maybe they'll release something, like I said, to try and put people's minds at ease, but it won't be quite the truth. So there is that. Oops, that one flipped. It is you. Queen of Wands. All right, that might spur some people into action. That is interesting. So even though this first person who may find something about Juanita might be trying to protect people by not really giving us the full truth, that might actually rile people up more to try and dig into it themselves. So now we have a new player or players. And let's see what they do, if anything. Not quite. Some cards kind of want to jump. Oh, there we go. We have you, and then the one that fell. Page of Swords. All right, so they are speaking up, but they're not spending their resources wisely. So it looks as though this case is still going to be troublesome for some time, because Page of Swords speaks before their turn. This might be the Queen of Wands over here, kind of like going, well, I don't know if you heard, but a lot of people want to know about Juanita, so you can tell us all these lies and everything, but now we have a little bit more information. I'm going to go dig into it. And then they kind of do the wrong thing. They may be barking up the wrong tree, but it looks as though a new hunt is started over here, a new hunt for information right there on the end. So it doesn't quite show that we're going to see anything about Juanita. And it may also be the case that with this last row in particular, somebody finds out the truth, tries to communicate it, but it doesn't go down well. That's why the Ace of Swords is in reverse, and that makes other people who are fond of a different theory go, wait a second, that's not correct. We're going to do it again, but then we're going to do it our way. Like we're going to continuously see people going back and forth about this case, whether it was this person, whether it wasn't this person. But the cards so far are telling me that she may have been trafficked and she ended up possibly escaping those people, but then ending in a very negative spiral that just kind of led to a very negative outcome. She may still be around, or we may find that she ended up passing away in that state, in a state that is not very favorable. And then perhaps we'll find that people will not believe that because they wanted a different outcome, perhaps. I don't know. But looks as though the truth is going to take some time before it reveals itself, if it ever gets revealed at all. But that is what I'm seeing for Juanita Estevez, Lee or otherwise. I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. If you want to subscribe, that's even more appreciated. In any case, I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.